morning, everybody. Good morning, Melanoid Nation. Good morning, world. Good morning to South Florida, particularly like in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, and up to my peoples up in Central Florida and North Florida, and throughout Southeast and Southwest Georgia, all up to Atlanta, Jackson, Mississippi, Alabama, Houston, Dallas, Charlotte, North Carolina. We stand behind y'all 100%. All the way up to the NY, Cleveland, Euclid, Ohio, Chicago, Chi-Town, my favorite city, Memphis, Tennessee, all the way over to LA, all the way over to Vegas. Hell, let's just go through the whole North American continent. To all the melanated people everywhere, good morning. This is once again the Night Rider himself, the true Black Knight, Mr. O. And I'm here with another special. Now, normally, like I said, like, you're probably going to hear to ask yourself, well, I thought this was supposed to be like historical economic Saturdays and stuff. It still is, but I'm giving it a little hiatus because I'm doing like a 3-part special for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm calling this Saturday special because things have just been popping up besides the comedy show known as the presidential debate between the two clowns, between the Joker and Two-Face, aka Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. I'm not interested in that right now. Y'all know my stance on that. Neither one of those fuckers are not getting my vote. That's said and done. Moving right along. But I do want to bring out these two stories on two individuals who I really, really despise. One, probably you sports fans probably know about, or probably the self-aware, conscious sports fans know about. And like my good friend Taurine Rain, I want to thank you for I knew about it, but bringing more attention. But I'm gonna shed a little bit more light on that on this one. And give a shout out to Taurine Rain, shout out to Irvin Griffin Jr., shout out to Mr. Superboy 223, Jay Miller Speaks Out, Kimberly Frazier, and Ticket TV 1. Definitely big fan. Shout out to you guys too. And to your brother. I just had spoke to him. I just had commented on him on YouTube and stuff when he went in on the roly-poly COONZ Charles Barkley. J-Biz, you know, I'm saying like that, you know, come on through, we chop it up, you know, we're gonna do like what real men go ahead and do. But right now, let me go ahead and get into it. Now, as y'all know, the picture that y'all see right there, if you're on YouTube right now, if you're listening live on Facebook and Twitter, you see that this picture of New York Giants receiver Victor Cruz. You know, I might as well call him COONZ because he ain't nothing but a coon anyway. Now, back in August, before the regular NFL season started, you know, he had a problem with Colin Kaepernick refusal to stand up for the national anthem, as all we should, as melanoid people, had it for not standing for the national anthem. Well, all Colin is doing is just exercising his First Amendment right, exercising his constitutional right. Okay, he comes out there on the podium and talking about saying, "Oh, you got to respect the flag. You got to respect the flag." Kiss my ass, Victor Cruz. Fuck you. Now, I mean, he sounded real stupid when he came out and said that, but now he's even a more bigger idiot. Stating now he stands fully behind the wife beater / thug / teammate New York Giants kicker Josh Brown. And I mentioned him in a few episodes back of my podcast of him on White Thug Friday. If not, I will make another one. Let me go ahead and this is from Black Sports Online, so let's go ahead and read this to you, and I'm gonna put a few things in there that I found out doing some research on Mr. Cruz. And this is the article was by Robert Littal. Kaepernick stands fully behind wife beater Josh Brown. Victor Cruz, who spoke out against Colin Kaepernick kneeling for racial equality and an end to police brutality, is totally behind his teammate who brutally abused his wife, Josh Brown. And this is his quote and what he said. Obviously, it is an unfortunate situation for all parties. But as a teammate, I am behind Josh Brown. I just want him to get himself right and make sure that he is able to overcome these things. It's not an easy thing, obviously, involving his personal life. But as an individual, I just want him to overcome and see where it goes. Let me read that to y'all again. For people who just tuning in and don't let it sneak in, the chat room is open on here. You can come on here via Spreaker, SPREAKER.com/ The Amazing Show. Chat room is open. You can come in there, air your grievances there. Let me read this to you again for y'all. That I'm gonna let this marinate on top of your cerebrum. Obviously, it is an unfortunate situation for all parties, but as a teammate, I am behind Josh Brown. Key word, key statement. I just want him to get himself right and make sure that he is able to overcome these things. It is not an easy thing, obviously, involving his personal life. But as an individual, I just want him to overcome and see where it goes. Now I'm gonna continue. It isn't an unfortunate event. It isn't an unfortunate event for all parties. Because given the history, and I mentioned this, Josh Brown abused his wife multiple times, sometimes right there in front of his kids. It's unfortunate that his wife and children have to live with this thug. Thank goodness somebody said it. So that's how I know this article was written by a brother. Thank you. He needs to be in prison, not kicking a football. Yeah, he needs to be in prison, so that way probably some of the Aryan Brotherhood could probably, or one of the Black Guerrilla family probably get his ass and start kicking him. Now, as for Victor Cruz, he tried to turn around and tried to backtrack from the direct quotes he made, and this is what he put on his on Twitter. This is what he put on Twitter. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah. Let's be clear. I never said I stood behind Josh Brown's actions. What he admitted to is wrong, and I do not. And you got the link right there. Now, wait a minute, Victor. Wait, just hold the fuck up. Flag on the goddamn play. Come on, guys. Sorry about that, folks. My apologies. Just getting these notifications here every time when I do my show. Sorry about that. Let's continue. Wait a minute. Flag on the goddamn play. Shoot. I call offsides. Shoot. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down. Damn it. You just said that you fully stand behind Josh Brown. Let me go back and Mr. Cruz, I hope you listening to this and all that, because I really don't give a shit if you aren't. You just said that you fully stand behind Josh Brown. Now you turn around. This tweet you just put out is a complete contradiction of what the hell you just said. Let me go over here and repeat that again. What you said earlier in this statement. You said, obviously it is an unfortunate situation for all parties, but as a teammate, I am behind Josh Brown. That's why I kept going back to it the first 2 times, people. So therefore I want that to sink right there on y'all head. So now he comes around and he calls himself, tried to backtrack, just like tried to do with Jerry Rice. He tried to backtrack. When I say Jerry Rice, because Jerry Rice came out with that bullshit, trying to throw shade at Colin Kaepernick, saying that all lives matter. He's part of the All Lives Matter Express. But then now he has a change of heart, and now he say he fully supports Kaepernick. Don't work like that. Doesn't work like that. You just busted on yourself. See, this just goes to show you the stupidity and this how clueless these chowder heads is. You making millions of dollars and stuff, running up and down a 100-yard field, catching passes, and then do your goddamn salsa dance. This ain't no disrespect to my Latino brothers and sisters and all that. There's no disrespect to that. So I'm gonna just clear that up. Doing your damn salsa dance to entertain the white supremacists who come there beer laden, drunk, and shouting all type of obscenities and stuff. And then you standing behind a jackass that's a known domestic violence abuser who beat his wife 20-something times, and right there in front of his kids. Do you realize the psychological trauma that has on a child to see their mom getting beat down like a dog by their daddy? They're not gonna respect him at all. If anything, they're gonna look at, especially if it's a little girl, they're gonna look at their dad, and they gonna go growing up with the general consensus thinking that all men are gonna be like that. But Victor Cruz, you stand behind that. But that's no surprise right there for coming from you. Now, I had to do some deep digging on Mr. Cruz and all that. And thanks to a great friend of mine on Facebook, and thanks to a few allies who gave me access to some outlets and stuff, and to my brother from out of DFB, come to find out, Victor Cruz, you cheated on your then fiance. I don't know if that's your wife now or what. You cheated on her when she was cheated on her running around here on the nightclub scene with other women. I mean, it's not a whole lot worse than the other Sambo / ex-teammate Tiki Barber did, but it's just as worse. But then again, like I say, as my good friend Richard Yarrell had always said, birds of a feather flock together. Oh yeah, and by the way, he's a fellow New Yorker too. That's how I know. Okay? Victor Cruz, you ain't shit. And I said it before. I personally said that I hope the New York Giants lose every last game of the season. Just because of the vitriol that you spill. You gonna stand behind this motherfucker here, but you got an issue with Colin Kaepernick, with your fellow brother who basically fighting a battle for you. And all Colin Kaepernick is doing is bringing awareness and fighting a good fight. Something that Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, formerly known as Lou Alcindor, and bring it on more today, even LeBron James, are doing. And Jesse Williams, sorry, I forgot. Jesse Williams no athlete, but he's an actor. But the point of the matter is, all those guys using their platform for a greater good to speak for people who don't have a voice. Just like I do on here, I speak for my people who don't have a voice. Same way with Professor Black Truth. Same way with Jason Black. Same way with Mr. Superboy 223, Irv Griffin, Jay Miller Speaks Out, Taurine Rain, Kimberly Frazier. I could go on Ticket TV 1, Ticket TV, all them. I could go on and on. Anybody else I missed out there, please accept my humble apology. But this shit just gets me real upset. But see, that's no surprise coming from Victor Cruz. Oh man, look at here. That's why I call your ass Victor COONZ, because you ain't nothing but a coon. I hope when Willie D does Coon 3, please, Willie D, if you listening to this, brother, please put this motherfucker on blast. He just would have been better off just by shut the fuck up. But then again, he say stuff like that because he got to do what his white daddy got to tell him. So that way he don't want to mess up his endorsements. He don't want to mess up his money. You know, he has no heart. He has no spine. He's a coward. Yeah, Angela. I said I think the same thing. I think he is slow. Who he was raised by, I don't know. But I guarantee you somebody in his family is probably shaking their head at this fool. You know. Shout out to Angelia Hines, man, for coming through the chat room. She always come and support and show love like that. I love that right there. You know. But here's something here that's gonna make me, I think, gonna make a lot of us happy. I was coming across doing some more research, not only with Victor Cruz, but with Super Coon, United States Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. You know, who basically ain't really did shit. And it's kind of funny. And I'm gonna read this to y'all right now. This coming straight out of one of the fascist newspaper, one of the four horsemen, you know what I'm saying, of the media, the propaganda arm of white supremacy, which is the lamestream media. And it's coming from one of their four outlets of the four horsemen. When I mention the four horsemen, I talk about in this category: CNN, Fox, New York Times, Washington Post. And it's coming right for them. And they put a big article. Oh God, look who wrote it. Super Coon himself, Armstrong Williams. Another coon. But this is going to be interesting. He asking, why doesn't the African American Museum, the new one they just opened up, celebrate Clarence Thomas? Now, few people had went there, and I do believe they didn't have nothing there of Clarence Thomas. I have yet to go there, but I will be making that pilgrimage to the African American Museum. You know. Now, let me just read the commentary. Read this. I'm gonna come back with my commentary on this. This month marks two historic occasions: the inauguration of the National Museum of African American History and Culture on the Mall, and 25th anniversary on the confirmation of Clarence Thomas as the second Black Supreme Court Justice. Ideally, the two historic moments should converge in a celebration of the journey of progress of African Americans up from slavery to their rightful place among the pantheon of American life and culture. But it's obvious that won't be the case. The museum noticeably snubs Thomas, mentioning him only and briefly with the context of a reference to his accuser, Anita Hill, as it should. Another groundbreaking black lawyer. Hill appeared at Thomas's 1991 confirmation hearing and reported lewd behavior directed toward her by the nominee, who was her boss at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission while Thomas chaired the agency. As those who fought in that battle recall, come on guys, sorry about that folks, my apologies though. When you got something going and stuff like that, you know, you got people that's always trying to hit you up though, but I'll get back to y'all on that. Where was I? As those who fought in that battle recall, Hill's allegations caused quite a media furor over Thomas's fitness for the High Court, a firestorm Thomas famously called, quote-unquote, a high-tech lynching. The wounds of that bruising confirmation has apparently not completely healed during the intervening quarter century. chronicling the impressive strides black people have made since the civil rights movement, the museum covers the achievements of, oh God, Jesus, I can't believe this, Oprah Winfrey, Colin Powell, and Condoleezza Rice, and of course the historic election of Barack Obama, the so-called first black president. You know, but for some reason there's no direct reference to Thomas, whose compelling personal journey from humble roots in Pinpoint, Georgia, to the nation's highest court helped pave the way for many black Americans, including President Obama, who rose to power after him. No matter your view of Thomas' conservative politics, it's simply undeniable that his record of jurisprudence on the Supreme Court over the past 25 years make him one of the most important black figures of the post-civil rights era. Right, Armstrong Williams. It takes a coon to know a coon. Wow. Let me continue. While Thomas has not presented himself as a race leader per se, he's much like Obama in that regard. The very fact that he wields the quiet power of the court to help to settle so many of the nation's most contentious and complex legal controversies cements his place in African American history. Thomas must be given his due. Like him or not, and personally I admire him very much. Didn't I told you that? Did you see that shit though? Take a coon to know a coon. He has been a groundbreaking advocate of the textualist approach to constitutional interpretation, perhaps even exceeding the record of the late Justice Antonin Scalia, who was nothing but a known racist and white supremacist, so he got what he deserved. Fuck him. He has meticulously sought to remove what he regards as barnacles that have attached themselves to American law over the years. One of the most notable examples was his 2005 dissent in Kelo v. versus City of New London, a case in which the majority stretched to extremes the plain meaning of the Constitution to affirm the power of local government, in cahoots with private developers to seize and demolish the homes of citizens. Indeed, an entire thriving neighborhood to make way for a corporate office complex. Thomas has authored many important opinions, but Kelo should be stand out for African Americans because it was written in dissent. Moral dissent that has been a hallmark of the contribution of African Americans to the American social fabric. The African American Museum serves as a testament and visible reminder of this tradition, seen early on in the patriotism of Crispus Attucks, the first person to die in the American Revolution, and that courses through the dissenting voice of David Walker's radical appeal against slavery in 1829, on to the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from Birmingham jail and beyond. Now, you see that? You see how I figured that he was going to sooner or later slip in a Martin Luther King quip. I figured he was going to do that. This is right out of the white supremacist playbook. Let me go. Thomas's jurisprudence fits perfectly within the revolutionary African American tradition of speaking truth to power. It is some of an irony then that Thomas was left out of the African American Museums because of what can only be his principal dissent from the political orthodoxy of today's African American leadership. By erasing Thomas in this way, however, the curators of the museum has done a grave disservice to the legacy of the African American experience in this country, and by denying Thomas a rightful place among the pantheon of African American achievers and strivers, they also deny themselves the very legitimacy they are seeking by erecting a monument in the heart of the nation's capital. Alright, now that was from Armstrong Williams. Now, in case y'all don't know who this shuck and jive, step and fetch it motherfucker is, I could tell you all about him. Yeah, he's the bootlicker for George Stephanopoulos, and as well as a lot of those other white supremacists that sit up on Capitol Hill. Just an old go along to get along Negro. Now, it's a reason why the curators of the African American Museum didn't include Clarence Thomas. But I bet you'll find something there, a Thurgood Marshall. But I'm pretty sure Thurgood Marshall will roll over in his grave and some of the things that Clarence Thomas has done. He hasn't done squat for black people since for the past 25 years, since he's been sitting on the U.S. Supreme Court, and that's Justice Chair. When you got racists like Antonin Scalia who kicked bucket, and that Gargamel-looking broad Ruth Ginsburg, who wanted to try to throw shade at Colin Kaepernick, but she too had to retract her statement after Colin Kaepernick schooled her that it's a shame that a U.S. Supreme Court justice had called not standing up for the national anthem and protesting against inequality is dumb and stupid. Well, Gargamel, how you feeling right now? Because right now Colin Kaepernick feel more like Papa Smurf. Yeah, I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. You ever seen that lady? She looked just like Gargamel. All she needs is a cap done and you got a complete set. But Clarence Thomas hasn't done shit. Let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he supported the Confederate flags to fly over the states like in South Carolina, particularly Mississippi, and all that stuff. He has done, for the past 25 years, he has done the bidding for white supremacists to try to keep a heel on the necks of blacks. Now, I'm not saying now I'm pretty sure with this one right here, I'm going to be expecting some trolls, some of these hate trolls, particularly from Stormfront or wherever, that's going to come on here and talk that noise and all that, trying to kick FBI facts. But it's like I say always, and Professor Black Truth has always said, a lot of those idiots clearly don't comprehend math, and they never will. I'm expecting the response from Trailer Park USA, as my boy TR calls it. But Clarence Thomas hasn't done nothing. Hasn't done a goddamn thing. He just sits there to go along, to get along. But unfortunately, it's coons like him, like Screaming A. Smith, Charles Barkley, Larry Elder, Jesse Lee Peterson, another slow person, Angela, just like Victor Cruz, very slow. They're dangerous because the platforms that they have, even though greater than mine, and especially with Clarence Thomas, and he can make a decision that can impact us. Because I guarantee you, he was one of the ones that probably approved behind the scenes for for Obama to sign that stupid, putrid law called Blue Lives Matter law, where it gives police officers complete immunity. That if a police officer is killed, it's considered a hate crime. When you got the white supremacists that are the ones committing the hate crimes, dressed as police officers committing the hate crimes. I wonder if he goes ahead and he tells that to the families of Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Mike Brown, Jordan Davis, Freddie Gray, Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Renisha McBride, Rakia Boyd, Tamir Rice. Or that poor little girl that was asleep on the couch and these stormtroopers came busting in and shot her in the head up in Detroit. Clarence Thomas is also a cause of that. And I don't blame the curators over there at the African American Museum. I wouldn't put that shuck and jive motherfucker, give him no type of notice. Let his go along, get along ass sit right with where he at. Because that's where he rightfully deserves. That's where he rightfully deserves. And it figures that this article that I read from the Washington Post, remember I told you, the Washington Post is one of those 4 horsemen I told y'all about. You know, they put out some meaningless propaganda to the detriment of black people. This is why, like myself, like all my other people that I just mentioned, why Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, why we always want to push for black media. We got to have our own media outlets. And TV One is not one of them. They are not for us. Okay, they're based right there in DC. Shoot, with Roland the Boule Rolo and all them just trying to audition so he can get his old job back over there at CNN. Because the fact of the matter that, you know, that he like white daddy's money too much. I tell you, I really tell you. But this kind of brings a smile to my face. So when I do make the pilgrimage there, I ain't got to look at this old J.J. Evans looking mother sucker here, you know. But anyway though, but shout out to Taurine Rain, man, for bringing me that story like that on Victor Cruz. Shout out to Ticket TV One and J Biz. Shout out to Phil from the Advice Show as well. Shout out to Mr. Superboy 223, J Miller Speaks Out, Kimberly Frazier, Irv Griffin Jr. And shout out. Oh yeah. More importantly, on top of that, not only that we got to have our black media, but also I'm going to bring something that's real important that I also had researched about it and not even mentioned. I've warned people years ago, months ago, weeks ago, about with Facebook, about with Twitter, about with Instagram. Yeah, I have a Facebook page. Yeah, I have that. I have all that. So I'm not excluded. But I've said that Facebook is nothing more than a government-sponsored data collector. And my personal feeling about Mark Zuckerberg, because he just sucking the life out of black people over there at Facebook, you know. And it's a shame that a lot of our people are not opening their eyes up enough to get up off that plantation over there. Which is why, like I said, a lot of us need to go ahead and support Black Spot, which is our alternative to Facebook. Everybody needs to go ahead and check it out, blackspot.com. You know what I'm saying? And check it out. Because I'm saying we need to support our own. We need to have our own social networking site. Our own Facebook, our own Twitter, our own YouTube, our own Instagram, our own Periscope, our own Pinterest, or whatever. Snapchat, whatever. Because black over here at the amazing show, black comes first, black media first. Okay? Support black businesses. That comes first over here. Then you're not, and I'm not trying to take the little catch quip from Ticket TV or nothing like that, because they got that down to a science. You know what I'm saying? But in my case, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You ain't getting no sucking jive in here. You ain't getting no stepping and fetching. You're not getting no tap dancing, no buck dancing, no cooning, none of that. Okay? I'll give it to you straight. Johnny Walker Black, no chaser. And like like I tell anybody, and this is a message to these trolls and these cowards, the keyboard Klansmen. You don't like what the hell I got to say on my shit? Stay the fuck up off my page and off my station. I don't go over there in no white supremacist stations or channels or whatever like that and see what the hell y'all talking about, because I don't really want to hear what the hell y'all talking about, because you ain't got shit for me to talk about. All y'all doing is spread nothing but hate and vitriol. And I'm making something else clear too. But I'm known for going ahead and going in on white people, not just online. I do it to you right to your face, and I really don't care what you think. But if you're not one of the white people that's not on that dumb shit, that's not on that, okay, this doesn't include you. You shouldn't have nothing to worry about. I'm making that disclaimer right now. Because see, you're going to have one of these idiots, one of your peers in your circle tomorrow saying, oh, well, black people can be racist too or like that. No, motherfucker, we can't be racist. How we going to be racist when we ain't really got the power for it? Okay, we're not in a position of power to practice racist practice and systematic white supremacy. Now, we can be bigoted, but that's about it. But as far as trying to hold somebody else back from progressing, regardless of race or nationality, we don't do that. That's a practice these Neanderthal, these knuckle-dragging, flea-infested vermin of Neanderthals do. Not us. So I'm gonna just make that perfectly clear. But anyway, though, that out the way. To my melanated people, melanated nation, please check out Black Spot and please check out Tariq Nasheed's on More Us. You know what I'm saying? This is about time. It's about to get real. Black Spot is on. It's popping. It's vibrant. It's happening. It's what you make you feel at home and stuff like that. And say if you do join and open up a page there, like, go ahead and do that. You know, donate some money to help the developers and stuff. Holler at Dario C, man. He's the one that's helped doing it, along with a few of the other brothers over there. You know what I'm saying? So we can make this experience a whole lot more better. Hey. That's how Facebook got started. That's how Twitter got started. But y'all don't question what they doing. You know, like, you know, selling your personal information and all this other stuff like that. You're not doing that. But go over there and support that, man. We need to you have to start supporting our own. You know, the Jews do it, Mexicans do it, the Italians do it, the Koreans, Chinese, or maybe bring it closer to home here in South Florida, particularly here in Miami. You know, the Cubans do it. Okay? But the problem is some of y'all Negroes, man, y'all focusing your anger over the wrong situation. Because see, forget the puppets, motherfucker. Focus your rage at the puppet masters. That's where it need to be going. Because yeah, I understand, I get it. You got some of them that have their little honorary quote unquote white card and all that, and want to express their vitriol toward us. But that's they behind. They ain't got, like I say, there's no cure for stupid, because they don't realize they being played too. They better understand and open their eyes and understand that. See, this is one of the things why Colin Kaepernick is taking the knee and he protesting about. You know. And they try to hit them with everything they can, and they continue to this moment keep missing. And on top of that, Colin was so smart that he did something that I'd never seen done. He went and bought out his insurance policy that the San Francisco 49ers took away from him. Very brilliant. And that's another thing we need to start looking at too. Whether you're on your job, those are things that need to think about. They got like, little insurance, whatever benefits like that. Now I'm gonna throw a little bit of economic wise Saturdays in this now too. Because like, responsibility for yourself and for your loved ones is important. Sometimes your place of employment, they say they give you health insurance, they give you this, all that. Okay, that's fine. But also look for an outside source that's going to benefit you too, because it may come a time where you may walk away from that plantation due to technicalities or whatever like that. And then you got something you could fall back on that'll benefit you in the long run. That's just a little food for thought. Anybody that want to know the details on that, you can inbox me, either via FB Messenger or whatever, and I can give you the details. Anyway, that concludes my show for this morning. I want to just go ahead and give a shout out to all the people here in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Pembroke Pines, Miramar, places like the Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, throughout the whole state of Florida. Shout out to my main man. Since we were little, grew up with, we came up from the cradle. Came up from the cradle. Up in Ocala. Shout out to them people up there in Tallahassee. Shout out to my peoples over in Alabama, in Georgia, particularly like in Hinesville, Savannah, Atlanta. Shout out to the people in North Carolina. Shout out to my peoples up in Houston, Dallas, Chicago, Euclid, Ohio, Cleveland, Detroit, everywhere. Anyway, this is gonna conclude my show for the day. So this is the OG himself, the Black Knight, the true Night Rider himself, the true Dark Knight, Mr. O. Going ahead, signing off. See you later. Salute.